Hi guys, so this is just a bit of fun here. This is something actually I vowed I would never do, is build a copy of Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar. But this is kind of more a tribute guitar that we're building here rather than a replica. I don't see the point of building a replica, but there's certainly some things that made Stevie's Stratocaster unique, which I'm going to go through here. And so my intentions were really just to get kind of close to his guitar, so some of his repertoire and that of Jimi Hendrix as well, I would be able to sort of play a little bit easier. So let's talk about the body first. Now this is an MJT body. I'm a really big fan of MJT, and I wanted to avoid the sunburst, the kind of the typical sunburst color, so that's why I went for red. And another reason I went for this color is because this was super cheap. It was about £100, you know, British, the Queen's money. And as you can see, it's been hacked away here to put some kind of a pickup. But more concerning is the fact that it's had routes here in the neck pocket, as you can see. So it's actually had almost a centimetre, or 0.8 millimeters, 8 millimeters, sorry, of depth there, routed out. So obviously the neck had a bigger, deeper heel. So they did that to accommodate it. So this is something we're going to have to address and put a glue in a piece of wood here to restore it to its normal height. That's something we have to do. But that is because we have to do a bit of routing anyway on this guitar, because one of the main features of the #1 that Stevie Ray played, was this left-handed tremolo. Now, he didn't always use this because, for example, on the really sort of tremolo-heavy songs such as Lenny and Riviera Paradise, he would tend to use his maple neck. I think it was a 65, which he called, the Lenny guitar, and he would have a right-handed tremolo on that guitar. But if you watch El Macombo video, you can see Third Stone from the Sun, where he really goes crazy on the left-handed trem and sort of almost pointing the guitar to face him, and then just holding onto the trem bar in quite a crazy fashion, but it's amazing. So of course I wanted to find a left-handed tremolo, and this is what they call a vintage USA. It's not vintage, but it's called a vintage USA gold left-handed tremolo, and it says made in USA, but I don't think it is. I think it's probably made in the Ping factory, but where most of the hardware is made. But nonetheless, it's pretty good quality. It's quite heavy, so I'm guessing this is quite a good block. I'm not sure if it's a zinc or an alloy. And what I would normally do is swap out one of these for a Callahan block, where the string ends right close to the top here. But this is not going down too far. It's ending about there, as opposed to some where they end about here. So I might just keep this depending on how it sounds. But the most important thing here, obviously, is that it's left-handed. Okay, I've got two left-handed. Sorry, these are not left-handed, but these are right-handed trem arms. But you can see here, what I tend to do is bend them straight. I just put them in a vise and bend them straight. That's just how I like it. But this is for a right-handed tremolo, so I'm going to see if this will work on the left-handed, or maybe it would be better even to have one of these, or maybe it's better to have it bent the other way. Okay, so maybe there is a left-handed tremolo arm. You can tell me in the comments. I don't know, but maybe I should have one that's bending the other way and have a proper left-handed one. So or maybe this is a left-handed one, which I think it is. Yeah, it is. So this came with a left-handed tremolo. So my mistake. Sorry, guys. So anyway, that's something to check out when we fit it all together. Now, this is an important thing. If you would want to fit one of these to your right-handed guitar, you're going to have to realise that you're going to have to route out here, because as you can see, if you can see here, that these holes, which were for a right-handed tremolo, do not fit. Like this needs to kind of go over that side, as you can see. So this first hole lines up with that first hole. So we're going to have to route out a section of wood here to move this tremolo there. And of course, when we take out this bit of wood here, which will have to go right down through the guitar, we're going to be left with a gap. So that will have to be filled in and painted red. okay, which is something I need to do. And then as for the other hardware, we've got a nice gold jack input plate. What else? We're going to use 5 springs. I've just got these kind of relict modern springs. I don't know, maybe they're Goto or Fenders, but eventually I will get my favourite springs, which are raw vintage. So I'm going to get some of them. I really love them, but I'll start with these as I have them. We got what have we got in here? So this is like, we got 4 gold screws to go into the gold neck plate. This is actually a Goto neck plate, and then we've got the 6 screws to hold the tremolo in here. Okay, so that's all sorted. Of course, I can't even put the neck in because it's the actual screws would go right through the neck because the heel's too shallow at the moment. Now these are some raw vintage saddles, which I really love. But really for this guitar, I kind of want to keep it kind of all gold, and raw vintage don't do gold saddles, so I'm going to stick with the Fenders. That's what was on Stevie's guitar, but obviously on the original he had these little, he put these bit of rubber sealing on each of the saddles so that they didn't break the strings so easy. Graphtex would be the same job, or you know, I have some pretty good luck with raw vintage not breaking strings. Now this is interesting. This is a 3-way tremolo. Okay, sorry, not tremolo, 3-way switch, selector switch. Normally you put and Stevie's had a 5-way switch, as far as I'm aware. Now, I want to put a 3-way, and I know Eric Clapton is currently using a 3-way switch, so you can actually get the in between positions by just kind of, you know, just maneuvering it in the middle position. But I tend to use kind of the bridge, the middle, and the neck anyway. I don't really go for the in-between sounds so much these days. So I'm toying with the idea of putting this 3-way switch in. We've got some other sort of gold. I don't have enough. I have to buy some more of these sort of gold screws to put the scratch plate in. At the moment I'm going to put a white one, but I might change my mind and put something else. If you've got any suggestions, guys, let me know. A very cool colour that could go on here, but at the moment it will just be probably a white one. Okay, so this is the neck. And this is quite interesting. This is a neck I had made for me 10 years ago by Robert Gilmore. He's got the same initials as me. I think, maybe that says 2013 or 2012, 15, I don't know what it says exactly, but yeah, maybe 2015, so not quite 10 years. But this was made as a Stevie Ray Vaughan neck. Now, the one difference between Stevie Ray Vaughan's neck and this one is that this is a slab board, okay? It's Brazilian rosewood. So Stevie's was Brazilian, and this nice flame maple neck on here, and it's just got it's almost, there's no finish on this back of this neck, just some oil or something. But Stevie's guitar, which was actually a 63, if I understand correctly, it had a slab board. Okay, so when I talk about a slab board, I'm going to show you my other Strat here. And this is an ESP Strat, it's my favourite Strat. And you can see here, it's thinner, got a thinner piece of wood there in comparison. And this is a veneer, just like Stevie's. So Stevie had the veneer board, and this is a slab board. So that is a bit of a difference. Now, I personally prefer a veneer. I think the veneer sounds better for me. I don't know why, I just prefer the veneer to the slab board, you know. And so that's kind of one thing where I kind of messed up a bit, is I didn't get a slab board neck made, but you know, still, I can't complain. This is a really, really beautiful neck. So this is what's going on here. What's really interesting is the nut width. Okay, so on a vintage guitar, if this was a 1963, I'm guessing the nut width would be slightly less than 42 millimeters, which is exactly what this is. Okay, so it's very important, because if you're going 42 a bit over, then you're going to have a wider neck. It's going to be harder to get your thumb round and harder to do some of those Stevie kind of style licks and tricks. So that's kind of another thing I wanted with this neck, is a more vintage nut width than a modern Fender nut width. It's got 6100 Jim Dunlop fret wire. So really big frets, because this guitar will live in E flat and have 12s on it, okay? And then just finally we've got the gold Shala Elite with the pearl buttons. I'm missing 3, so I need to go to Shala and order 3 more buttons. But this is the proper tuners, which I think are a little bit hard to get hold of now. But they do come up for sale, but they can be pricey. But these are the proper tuners that Rene Martinez put on to Stevie's guitar. So this is that, and that's why we're using gold hardware, was because at some point Rene Martinez, towards the last couple of years, he put all gold hardware on Stevie's guitar, and you can actually see that originally Stevie had some other gold tuners, which could have been because he swapped out necks, which I'm sure he did. He did at the end because one of the necks was broken, but you know, maybe he swapped out a neck earlier because the number 1's original neck was getting refretted or something like that. So there's kind of photographic evidence. You can see different necks on Stevie's guitars at some point, but I haven't really researched that, and I should actually look into that a bit further. But anyway, so here we go. This is basically what I would call a tribute. But the main reason I'm not doing this because I'm a crazy SRV fan. Well, I am a big Stevie Ray fan, and have always been. But the main reason I'm doing this is so that I can play the Jimi Hendrix and the Stevie Ray Vaughan repertoire in E flat with the big frets, the big string gauge, and with the left-hand tremolo. That's the whole idea of it. Okay. Now, as for pickups, you are asking, what pickups will I put in? Well, I'm slowly gathering pickups for this project. So we do have one pickup here, and this particular pickup, I won't say where it's from, but this pickup is a pretty cool pickup. I'm thinking about putting a zinc base plate because this is a really good measurement for my bridge position pickup. But obviously when we put the guitars together, string it up, you know, then you're going to know if the pickup sounds good or not. But I'm actually considering putting a zinc base plate, just like a Telecaster has. That's just going to give me more the sound that I kind of like off the bridge pickup. It's just something that I love to do. And so I will be getting a middle pickup and a neck. In the neck I've already have another pickup, which is, and I will tell you what that is. It's an ESP pickup, which is going in the neck. And then probably a vintage Fender pickup, which is going in the middle. And so, you know, I kind of like to mix up pickups. You know, I'm not someone that says, okay, we have to have 3 pickups all of the same maker or whatever. I don't really believe that. I think, you know, just choose pickups that you like for different, you know, positions. You know, I like a certain position pickup, and I like a neck, and I don't really use the in-between sounds. So for me, they don't have to work together because they're just working independently. So I don't use the, you know, the 5-way switch and have those in-between positions. So that's the whole idea of this. So a little bit different than maybe what people would expect a Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute guitar to be, but I think this is something I would be quite happy and comfortable to play, rather than, you know, have SRV on the scratch plate and it be an obvious, you know, replica, which is I'm not really into. You know, even the wear is the same. I mean, you know, for God's sake, you know, that's just crackers. So this is kind of my way of doing things, where I can play the repertoire and make it sound as good as I possibly can. Okay, so the next video, part 3, will be actually when with actually my good friend Darren from Daniel's Guitars is going to be doing the work on this, when we've sorted the neck pocket up and we've installed the left-handed tremolo and everything's working. So until then, take care guys, and see you soon.